Hey everyone, so I have a movie to talk about today, and this is Mr. Magorium's Wonder Emporium. Now this first came into the cinema at the end of 2007, and I was desperate to see it. Sadly, I never got around to doing it, but I finally managed to buy my own copy. For the record, this was $1.99, seriously, in That's Entertainment. It's about £3 on Amazon. It's not that expensive, so do get a hold of it. Now this is a Christmas movie, but it doesn't have a Christmas feel to it. It was released in time for Christmas, but it's got no relation to Christmas whatsoever, technically, except for the fact that Mr. Magorium's Emporium is like it's a giant toy shop, but it's a magical toy shop. So it kind of has a Santa's workshop feel to it, even though there's no connection to Santa whatsoever. Yeah. So there's a woman who works for Mr. Magorium called Mahoney, but she just gets called Mahoney in the movie, and that is her there. And she works for him as a sort of apprentice, if you like, but one day she finds out that Magorium is leaving. Or at least we think he's leaving, but there's something a little bit more deeper than that, but I'll let you watch it to discover exactly what it is, because I don't want to spoil it. And Mahoney's like, you can't go, you need the Emporium, what's going to happen? And it turns out that she's supposed to be running it, so she tries to get everything she can to get Mr. Magorium to stay. Whether or not he'll stay in the end, we'll have to wait and find out. But there are two other people involved in this. First of all, you have Eric, who is there. Now, he is 9. And he loves the Emporium. He spends all of his days there when he can. He helps tidy it up. He doesn't just spend that time playing. He actually helps run the shop as well, which is really great. And when they have a small conference meeting, he's actually there as well. Granted, he's sitting beside a robot and a stuffed teddy, but whatever, you know. He's really an intelligent kid, quite unique, and he collects hats, which is brilliant. What hat does he have on the cover? He has a crown on, which I think is pretty appropriate. And then you have Mutant. You have the Mutant there. Now you might be thinking Mutant is a really weird character, the name for a character. I don't really want to spoil much of the film, but I do want to tell you why he's called Mutant. Mr. Magorium wanted to hire an accountant so he could work out how much the shop's value would be if for some reason Mahoney didn't want it and needed to sell the shop because he is, as he says, leaving. So he hires an accountant, but he's never had an accountant before. He doesn't know how much his shop's worth. He's never looked at a receipt. So he'd never heard of the word accountant. So he thought it must be accounting mutant. That's what it sounds like. So for the entire film, this accountant, whose name is Henry, basically gets referred to as Mutant, which I thought was really nice and a really funny little touch. And I really liked that. It was just, whenever they said mutant, I just thought it was hysterical, because they didn't say it in a funny, look at what we're saying manner. It was as if they were calling him by his name, and that was really great. And he's quite an uptight character, and Eric tries to make him a little bit more loose and a little bit more young, if you like, because he's like, no, I'm working, no time for fun ever, I work always. But he's not an annoying character. You can see that he wants to have fun, but whether he will or not in the end is basically up to Eric, actually. But it is absolutely gorgeous. Most of it, there are a few bits set in other places, but most of it, I'd say 80% of the movie, is set in the Emporium. And at the end of the movie, if you watch the features, there's actually a feature about how they built the Emporium, how they did the set. And you should see it! It's absolutely huge. The amount of different toys they have, there are thousands of different toys. And I mean, there is no camera tricks. What you see is this giant toy shop as a set. Imagine how fun that would have been to work on there. Just everywhere you look, there's toys. Amazing! It is a very funny movie. There are a lot of hilarious things in this, especially when the shop starts acting up. My favourite bit is when the woman has a squid on her head. If you don't know what I'm on about, watch it for that. If you know what I'm on about, I'm sure you'll love that bit too. And the bit where they're jumping on the beds is absolutely brilliant. There are so many bits of this which I thought, I love that. Obviously, I'm not going to say why because I'll spoil it, but if you've seen it, you'll know there's a bit near the end, I'd say about 10-15 minutes before the end, where it's really emotional and it's kind of like, I cried a bit. It is sad, but most of it is hilarious. That little bit is sad, but it's not overly done that you're depressed for the rest of the movie and the rest of your life. And then at the very end, it's brilliant. It's just absolutely fantastic. The cast is great as well. You've got Dustin Hoffman as Mr. Magorium. You know, he's absolutely brilliant. He fits the part perfectly. Then you have Natalie Portman as Mahoney, who is there. And she is really good. She reminds me of somebody. The character reminds me of somebody. I just can't place who. So if you know who it is, let me know. And then you have Zach Mills as little Eric. and Jason Bateman is the mutant. So it's really brilliant, really funny, lots of exciting, colourful, bright things going on there. At first I was a bit like, is this going to be a kids film? But it's not. It's a family fun, friendly, absolutely fantastic movie, and $1.99. Definitely worth it. But please feel free to leave comments on this movie or anything else. Leave requests if you have any, but that is it for just now, so I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!